EarFun just launched their new flagship true wireless earbuds, the Air Pro 3. And since the spec list looks insanely promising for the $80 price tag with the new Bluetooth chip and the selection of advanced audio codecs on board, I expect the buds to perform extremely well. Whether it is indeed the case or not, well, that's something I'm trying to figure out, and if you are also interested, then stick with me for the next couple of minutes. My name is Andy, and you're watching Andy's Tech Tone. But before we dive deep into the details, let me start with a quick disclaimer. I got a free sample from the manufacturer for testing, but I'm free to say whatever I want to say about the earbuds, and I'm not getting paid for making this review. And when I first opened up the box, I was like, yeah, cool, but what's the point of yet another set of EarFun buds with a STEM-style design after we already got the Air Pro 2, the Air Pro SE and the Air S within the last 18 months or so. And other than some cosmetic changes, there were only minor differences between these models as far as features and performance. The only exception might have been the app support that came along with the Air Pro SE. But today EarFun is adding something new to not only its own lineup, but maybe to the whole true wireless earbuds market. And that's Bluetooth LE, or Low Energy Audio. That's the true novelty of the EarFun Air Pro 3. The Qualcomm 3071 SoC is not only compatible with this new generation of Bluetooth, but it also comes with support for the also new LC3 audio codec, along with aptX Adaptive. And since we all know what aptX Adaptive is, let's focus on this LC3 codec a bit. So LC3 stands for Low Complexity Communication Codec. It uses Bluetooth LE audio, which is a new version of Bluetooth LE that uses less power than Bluetooth Classic. This LE version of Bluetooth has only been used for efficient low bandwidth data transfers, but not for audio in the past. And that's where the LC3 codec comes in, as it is the first solution for using Bluetooth LE to transmit audio. Hence the name Bluetooth LE Audio. The point of all this is that the LC3 codec uses less power than SBC, yet it delivers better sound quality even at lower bit rates, thanks to its more efficient compression. But that's not all. Bluetooth LE Audio is also compatible with Auracast, which is not quite available yet, but in theory, Auracast is a Bluetooth-based audio broadcast solution which will allow you to hear, let's say, announcements at an airport through your earbuds, or share your own audio easily with others within range. Again, this is just a potential future use of the Bluetooth LE audio technology with which the Air Pro 3 is supposedly compatible, but Auracast is not yet part of the official EarFun specifications, so this is just my mind wandering and speculating. But back to the already available tech for a second, there is support for the aptX Adaptive codec, and of course we still get AAC and SBC, which makes the Air Pro 3 one of the most versatile offerings at the moment across all platforms and all use case scenarios. And since we talk about wireless connection, let's not forget about multi-point support, which allows you to connect the EarFun buds to two devices at the same time, the single bud mode, which allows you to use either the left or the right earbud on its own, and we also get a low latency game mode, which makes the Air Pro 3 a great alternative for even hardcore gamers. And thanks to its sophisticated and powerful wireless chip, I did not experience any connection, pairing or latency issues with the Air Pro 3, regardless of the phone or source device I used during my tests. And there are 3 microphones on each earbud to provide you with a clear audio during phone calls. And as you can probably hear, there is nothing wrong with the overall quality and the clarity of voice transmission in a quiet room. And here's another audio sample. This time I'm outside, standing beside a fairly busy road, and there is also some wind, all of which the 6 mic array on the EarFun Air Pro 3 has to deal with. During the last couple of days of testing, I also found that the fit of the Air Pro 3 is just perfectly comfortable and snug in my ears. The buds did not even budge, and I did not have to touch them once during a 10K run at all, which says a lot about how balanced and secure their fit is. Well, in my ears that is anyway. The better than average IPX5 rating and EarFun's own sweat shield technology make the buds sweat and rainproof. We will talk about it later on in detail, but we also get a great ANC and the transparency mode, and all this together, I mean the snug fit, the weatherproof design and the different ANC modes, make the Air Pro 3 an excellent choice for those who are physically active, whether they train inside or outside. The general build quality of the buds is excellent even if it's all plastic. The design is sleek and modern. Not that I wasn't happy with any of the previous models I mentioned before, but the Air Pro 3 is my favorite so far when it comes to aesthetics. The battery case is almost the same as it was with the previous generation, but it's less rounded and it also got a bit more compact. The lid opens and closes firmly, and now we get 3 battery status LEDs on the front instead of the one we could find on the Air Pro 2. With the case we also get Qi-compatible wireless charging and a USB Type-C port. Depending on the use case and according to my own tests, the battery life varies between 5 and 12 hours. With the aptX adaptive codec enabled on Android and the active noise cancellation turned on, I got 5 hours and 3 minutes, while using an iPad with the ANC turned off, I managed to squeeze more than 12 hours of use out of the buds on a single charge at around 50% volume. And that's not only interesting because 12 hours is a class-leading result, but it's actually 3 hours longer than the biggest number you can find anywhere in the official specifications. And my tests were done using the good old AAC codec on an iPad and not the new LC3 codec due to the lack of compatible source devices. So if what they claim about the efficiency of the Bluetooth LE audio technology is true, then the battery life can only improve with LC3 capable devices whenever those become widely available. However, if we add the battery case to the mix, which can recharge the buds fully about 4 times, then we get a more than respectful total playtime regardless of the codec situation. The Air Pro 3 case can also do quick charging, so in only 10 minutes you can get 2 hours of extra playtime for your earbuds. Onto the controls, we get the usual touch-sensitive interface built into the top of each stem, which registers touches quite quickly and accurately. We can control play, pause, volume, tracks, voice assistants and phone calls with the different tapping actions, all of which can be remapped individually in the EarFun smartphone app. So all the controls can be customized without limitation on both iOS and Android. I only wish some big brand manufacturers could do the same with their own premium buds, such as Apple, Bose, Samsung or Sony. But back to the EarFun app, we also get some ANC modes to choose from on the main page, along with a game mode switch to turn on low latency, and an equalizer which offers some customizable presets, and a 6-band manual EQ where we can create and save multiple sound profiles of our own. But other than the usual how-to guides and firmware upgrades, there is nothing else we can do in the app. And while the previous generation, the Air Pro 2, did not have any app support, they came with smart sensors which are missing from the new buds. It means that we don't have autoplay pause on the Air Pro 3. Well, if you ask me to choose between app support and smart sensors, I would say give me the app, of course, but what I don't get is why I do have to choose between the two in the first place. Why can't we have them both? But we don't, so let's just move on to the next thing, which is active noise cancelling. The ANC feature on the EarFun buds has 3 basic modes: ANC on, ambient and normal, aka ANC off. No outdoor or vocal modes, nothing extra like what you can find in the Soundcore app with their similarly priced and designed earbuds, the Live P3 for example. But the ANC itself, well, it simply destroys the competition including the Live P3, and it is also a big leap forward compared to its own predecessor, the Air Pro 2, or even the Air Pro SV, which comes in at a higher price point. And the same applies to the ambient mode. It sounds much more natural and less amplified than on any other EarFun buds I have ever tested. And again, the Live P3 for example sounds more muted in comparison. Wind noise is handled way better regardless of what mode you are in, thanks to the excellent wind noise reduction algorithm as well. So I have to say that EarFun put themselves on a much higher shelf as far as ANC is concerned, and this performance easily makes the Air Pro 3 class leading in that regard. No matter if it's white noise, traffic noise or background chatter, the Air Pro 3 delivers outstanding results. And if I tell you that this ANC performance is closer to that of the Apple AirPods Pro 2 than it is to either the Live P3 or the Air Pro 2, and it is actually on par with the Sony WF-1000 XM4, then it might give you some perspective on how good the Air Pro 3 buds really are when it comes to blocking out the world around you. With all that said, I also have to mention that I got an almost perfect seal and great passive isolation using the Air Pro 3 in my own ears, which undeniably contributes to the outstanding ANC results, so depending on the fit of the buds, your experience might vary. And now let's move on to the sound of those 11mm wool composite dynamic drivers we get with the Air Pro 3. The first thing that hit me was how powerful the bass is. It is hefty and strong with deep extension, and it will certainly put a smile on the face of even the most hardcore bass heads. I, on the other hand, find it simply way too overpowering, especially in the mid-bass region, which makes it a bit boomy sounding too. That is with ANC turned on. Things get a bit more balanced in normal mode, and I actually found the earbuds to be the best sounding in ambient mode. Usually what happens with other earbuds is that we lose some bass in ambient mode, which tends to make their sound a bit too thin. And strangely enough, this is where the Air Pro 3 gets the sort of sound I personally like the most. However, with ANC turned on, there is way too much bass for me, which can be tamed by using the EQ in the app, but what not even heavy EQing can fix is that congested in the middle of my head type of sound we get regardless of ANC modes. There is not too much of a separation between the individual elements in the music either, and the sound stage is also narrower than, let's say, on the Air Pro 2, with less obvious spatial cues, if you will. The higher frequencies have just enough energy and detail, but the extension could be a touch better. The low mids are pretty much overpowered by the abundance of mid-bass, while vocals and voices come through with a natural and rich tone, but again, for my taste, they are not pushed forward enough in the mix. All in all, it's a powerful and likable sound, but I wish EarFun had kept the more open, balanced and nuanced character of the previous generation. I know we got an EQ with custom sound profiles in the app now, which wasn't the case with the Air Pro 2, but still, I'm not quite 100% happy with the default sound of the Air Pro 3. And that's quite a shame, as in my opinion, EarFun has just nailed everything else. But putting the sound aside, which more than likely is a matter of personal taste anyway, the Air Pro 3 buds are exceptional in almost all regards. And that makes them not only an excellent value proposition, but also a great multi-purpose everyday option regardless of their price bracket. Office use? Why not? You get multi-point all day long battery life, a good transparency mode and a decent phone call quality. Commuting or traveling? Sure, the class-leading ANC can drown out all sorts of noises, making your everyday commuting more convenient. Gym use? 100%. It's not only that the secure fit, the ANC and the IPX5 rating will improve your comfort and confidence and make you more focused, but the bass-heavy sound can also lift your energy levels. Gaming? Absolutely. Thanks to the low latency, the good isolation and the long enough battery life, you can immerse yourself in your favorite game all night long, if that's your thing. And what about music listening? Well, you get quite a powerful sound out of the box, which may or may not be your cup of tea, but the earbuds also come with loads of codec options and EQ settings, so as long as you find a combination that suits your own taste and needs, the Air Pro 3 buds can provide you with a more than satisfying musical experience. And on top of all this, you get the latest generation of low-energy Bluetooth with the LC3 audio codec, which kind of future-proofs the whole package, which once again will only cost you $80 or euros. And I'm not sure about you, but it sounds like the definition of a no-brainer to me. And this was my review of the EarFun Air Pro 3. If you liked it, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. For actual prices, please check out the links in the description, and I reckon you also know what to do if you have anything to say or ask, so feel free to comment away. Thanks for watching, see you next time.